Welcome back to the Wholehearted Truths, friends. We've got a little bit of sass mixed with grit, grace, and a whole lot of faith to lead you to endless possibilities. My friend Beth is with me today. Some of you may know her, and if you don't already know her, you're going to get to know her, and you are going to fall in love with her. So, Beth, let's go ahead and toss it over to you if you want to just give us a little introduction to who you are.
Yeah. So I'm Beth McCord. I live just outside Nashville, Tennessee with my husband. We've been married 30 years. We've got two grown kids and one grandbaby. And I am also known as your Enneagram Coach. I have 12 Enneagram books written, can help you with your marriage, your parenting, understanding your internal makeup. And you might be, if you don't know what the Enneagram is, you might be wondering, what is she even talking about? Well, the Enneagram helps us to understand why we think, feel, and behave. A lot of personality tools out there will tell you what you do, but this is getting to the motivations behind that. And that's really helpful because we can also see with this tool if and why we're being, let's say activated or motivated in certain ways, if it's actually healthy, average, or unhealthy for our personality type, which can be really helpful to help us to navigate from less healthy incidences to more healthy incidences. And so, why we all want transformation, we all want growth because we want to experience life in its fullness. And the Enneagram can really help with that. It's almost like a cheat sheet.
I love having a cheat sheet, having all of the answers. That sounds great. And understanding really like that root part of it, I think has been critical in, I'll say, my healing process, really. You and I have had great conversations about this with counseling that I've been through at church. And even a couple years ago, when one of my mentors had shared the test with me, kind of looking through where things may have changed over time, and the number didn't. It was just that
Yeah.
fine little tuning that we had to determine between one of the two. I was between a 1 and a 6. I'm a 6, if you can't tell. So,
Yeah.
Beth, why don't you tell us a little bit more, please? Like, what exactly should people do once they know, or how do they get their hands on the Enneagram? Just kind of walk us through
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so if they go to yourenneagramcoach.com, that's our website. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a yellow button to take a free assessment, so they can start there. And it's a great starting place. It's going to give you results of how you answered, and it's going to let you know how you scored. Now, depending on how well you know yourself, is going to determine on how accurate that test is. So, what we recommend is that people look at the results and look at maybe their top four scores and see which one actually does resonate with them the most. And the key is to look at the core motivations. There are four core motivations: your core fear, core desire, core weakness, and core longing. And that is what your personality really hinges on. So look at the type's core motivations and then see if the one that you were told was your top one, if it really is your main type, or if one of the other numbers actually fits you best. Now, we do use all nine types to varying degrees. So if you're like, well, I kind of use a couple of these, that totally makes sense. But we're trying to find the one that is your real motivation that makes you think, feel, and behave in almost all circumstances. So that's where I would start, is just to go there. And then we've got our podcast that you can listen to. We've got a YouTube channel, Your Enneagram Coach, and we've got some great things on there called Ennea Basics. And I just take you through an overview of the Enneagram in like 5 or 7 minutes. And then I talk about each of the nine types in about the same amount of time. So that would be a great place to start, especially for free.
I love all of the free tools that you all offer. You just add value to people. And that's what spoke to me about you. It just, I think back to it when I was in the car going to one of my best friend's house, and we just talked the whole way, and it made it go so fast. But truthfully, looking back at my journey and understanding where this had come from for the listeners, I'll explain a little bit about that, where I have always struggled with control, right? If you can align with being a perfectionist, or you worry about a lot of things, anxiety, control tends to be that, okay, I feel safe when I know exactly what's going on and I can keep all of my ducks in a row, including things that you really can control, but more importantly, the things that you can't, right? And so
Hmm.
then when we feel out of control, I'm looking for that reassurance, that comfort. That's really where that 6 comes from. And I've seen this play out in many different aspects of my life. So now that I can recognize that, I don't live in shame anymore. I know where that is. I can give myself grace, but I can also see when it's happening and
Hmm.
pray and look for a new way, right, to use that energy and to go from there. So that's where it's really powerful. Beth, anything else on that? Or like when you know
Yeah,
your number, how do you find the joy in that?
yeah, exactly. Well, and that's actually a good point because a lot of times, not for every single type, but a lot of the types, when they do find their main type and they're reading about it, it feels a little too close to home, and we don't really want that to be our type, and we might want a different type. Well, all 9 types have the most beautiful attributes when they're healthy, and all 9 types have some really destructive attributes when they're unhealthy. So each of us, the goal is to really learn more about ourselves and to become the healthiest version of who we are. And so, how I describe it is think about you're driving, on the highway with your GPS system, and the Enneagram is like an internal GPS. It helps you to know your main Enneagram type, your main location, and your healthiest destination for your type. Here's the thing: you're going to be listening to different teachers or reading books or influencers, and they're telling you do this, don't do that. And, some of those are good general things, but sometimes it doesn't fit you and your personality the way it fit them. So, what we're wanting to do is to utilize our type and the understanding of why we do what we do so that we can become the best version of who we are, not someone else. And so, when you're using this internal GPS system and you're driving down the highway, hoping that you're going towards the right destination, you're learning, okay, you know what? For me, so I'm a type 9. For me, as a type 9, I don't know myself very well. So it's important that I develop myself and I move in that direction. I take the next right step. But I hate conflict. And so a lot of times I am going to not do those things because I'm just going to go along to get along and like accommodate to everyone else and not listen to my own voice because of the fear of upsetting people or making conflict. Well, that's not a healthy place for me. So when those things happen, the Enneagram is telling me that's not a healthy direction. So think about you're on the highway, I'm driving down, I start accommodating and not listening to myself, not asserting my voice. That's me veering off the road. And the Enneagram is that rumble strip on the highway that will alert you. Once you understand yourself, you can go, uh-oh, I'm doing that pattern again. And if I keep going in that direction, I'm going to veer off into the common pitfall that I do all the time and get stuck, where I get upset, like, how am I here again? The Enneagram can help you to understand what's going on and why, but more importantly, how to get on a healthier trajectory. So when you hit that rumble strip, go, okay, let's pause, let's think, what's a better way for me? And then you go in that direction. And that's where an Enneagram coach can be really beneficial because they can listen and, learn more about your patterns and guide you and help you into knowing what is the best, healthiest path for you.
I love it. I think I love it the most because we talked about this. It's so close to home with the health and fitness DNA test that we utilize. There are no bad genes. There are no bad Enneagram numbers. You literally
Right.
just get to learn the playbook and how to bring out those best attributes about yourself. So that is
Yep.
so good. As you all know, homework is always a thing on this podcast. And your homework today is easy to just take the Enneagram test if you have not done so yet. Beth and I can't wait to hear and connect with you on that. And thank you so much for spending time today, Beth.
Thank you for having me.